Hello legends! In this video I'm going to show you how to build absolutely anything with GPT 4.1 and Cursor AI. So Cursor is an AI code editor where you can chat with an AI model and it can automatically create code for you. And GPT 4.1 is OpenAI's latest API model, which has massive improvements on coding, following instructions, and it has a really long context. So GPT 4.1 is the best OpenAI model for coding. It beats GPT 4.0 and GPT 4.5. It's also great at following instructions. And this is super important when you're coding because when you have to debug or build really complex apps, you want the model to be able to follow along with you. And finally, we have a really long context window. It actually accepts up to 1 million input tokens. So how many tokens is 1 million input tokens? Well, if you've heard of the book Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky, that's around 211,000 words. And if you're looking at roughly 1.4 tokens per word, the entire book is 300,000 tokens. So you could actually fit 3 of these books into the context window. And in case you're wondering, like I was, how many pages is Crime and Punishment? It's roughly 500 to 700 pages. So if you can fit 3 of these books, that means you can fit between 1,500 to 2,100 pages into the 4.1 model. And the cool thing is, it's multimodal as well. So not only when we're using Cursor, we're able to upload different snippets of code or different files of code, but we can also give an image of what the current app looks like and then ask it to make adjustments based on that image as well. So the GPT 4.1 actually comes in 3 different models. We've got the GPT 4.1, the 4.1 mini, and a 4.1 nano. And looking at this graph of intelligence versus latency, where up here is the highest intelligence and up here is the highest latency, i.e. the slowest response times. The GPT 4.1 has a higher intelligence than the GPT 4.0. The 4.1 mini has a much higher intelligence than the GPT 4.0, but it is a little bit slower. And then the 4.1 nano has the least amount of intelligence, but also the max amount of speed. Now for this demo, I'm going to be using the GPT 4.1 because I don't really need to go for speed necessarily. I'm just looking for the most intelligent model. Now, what are we building out in this video? Well, I'm going to try and challenge us a little bit. This is still going to be a beginner-friendly video, so we're going to be going step by step through the entire process, but I want to try and recreate this very app. So this app, I can actually just have text like what you see here. This is a blank canvas directly in my browser. And I can choose something like the pencil icon and I can just freehand sketch on here as well. So this is going to be a slightly challenging app to build, but I think 4.1 can handle this. All right, so moving along into the steps. Now, in order for us to get to step 4 and actually go into Cursor and start coding the app with GPT 4.1, we've got to do step 1, 2, and 3 first. So for step 1, we have to download and install Cursor, which is the AI code editor. I'm going to give you a link in the description of this video to go ahead and download for a Mac or for different operating systems. And then we also have to download and install Node.js. And Node.js is going to let us run JavaScript within a Cursor. You can think of Node.js like the kitchen and JavaScript like the recipe. So we just need to have the kitchen in order to cook the recipe. Now, if you go to my YouTube homepage and you just search up Cursor, you're going to be shown a bunch of different Cursor videos, which I recommend you go and watch. I'm going to have all these linked in the description of this video. But to keep this short and sweet, you can go ahead and watch my complete beginner's guide step by step on how to download and install Cursor, how to download and install Node.js. And in this video, I actually show you the prompt that I'm using in Cursor. And you can see I posted this 7 months ago. I'm using the exact same prompt in my current Cursor environment. And if you're really enjoying Cursor and the 4.1 model, you can go ahead and watch this video and walk through step by step with me as I go through 5 practical examples. I actually build out incrementally a slightly more challenging automation. So this is really interesting and fun, especially if you're brand new to Cursor and using AI to code. Okay, so now that you've downloaded and installed Cursor and Node.js, the next step for us is to actually install GPT 4.1 and Cursor. Now, we're not actually installing GPT 4.1 and Cursor. It should already be an option for you to choose from within your environment, but if it's not there, I'm going to show you exactly how to add it as well. All right, so now I have a brand new Cursor window open. It's completely blank. I've got nothing running inside it. If you watch my other videos, you would know that on the left-hand side, this is where all the code files are going to be listed. Down the bottom, this is where our terminal is, where we can run commands to actually test out our code files. And then over here on the right-hand side, this is where we're going to be interacting with our 4.1 model. So we're going to be prompting it up and asking it to write the code for us. And then within this central place, this is where the code is going to be displayed. Now, I've already got the 4.1 model enabled and selected, but to make sure you have the exact same thing ready for yourself as well, go ahead and click on this Cursor settings button. and go into your models tab. From your models tab, if you scroll down, you should see the GPT 4.1 model already available. Just make sure it's selected. Now, a cool side note is that the Cursor team is making the 4.1 model available for free for the time being, just to let people get a feel for it. So I think that's super cool. So yeah, you'll be able to use this for free. Now, if for some reason you don't see the GPT 4.1 model listed here amongst the other GPT models, just click on Add Model and type in GPT-4.1 and then hit enter. And that's gonna add it into your selectable models. Now, what we do when we hit this Add Model button, we basically just add a new model for the API call to be able to use. So just make sure you add it exactly as you saw me do it there, GPT-4.1, and then it's gonna be replaced into the API call that Cursor makes in the backend. All right, so with that selected, let's go into features. Now, there's a lot of different features that we can use within Cursor. The two main ones that I wanna focus on for today's video is that I wanna have large context enabled. So it's gonna be off by default. Because the 4.1 model can have a 1 million token context, just enable it in case you wanna start building some really crazy apps. Then keep scrolling down and enable web search as well. So web search is just like the AI internet searching. By default, it's gonna be off. Let's just put it on. And then later when I'm prompting up the 4.1 model, I'm gonna be asking it at one stage to do some competitor research into different tools similar to Excalidraw, just to give it some more context as well. But okay, now that we have those two features selected, let's just X out of Cursor settings and start prompting up GPT 4.1 to build this app for us. Okay, so here are my initial instructions. Hey, please code me a full app. I want a sketchboard app where I can freehand sketch on it and also add text boxes to it. I want to turn this into a SaaS down a track, but for now I want to be able to run this on localhost. Localhost is just a way for me to run this app on my browser so I can actually touch and feel it. And then you can use your preferred tool stack. So earlier in the video, I said that I want to recreate the Excalidraw app. I'm actually going to let this run its process, and then I'm going to retweak it by asking it to do some AI web search to find other competitors to the sketchboard app. And then I'm going to stumble upon Excalidraw and say, hey, can we kind of pivot towards this kind of. All right, so let's hit send. And now the 4.1 model is going to take this and start generating some code for us. All right, so it's chosen its desired tool stack over here, which is very, very cool. It's letting us know exactly how to set up the project. So a bunch of commands that we're going to be running within this terminal here. We need to install some additional packages, cool. And then we have some code that we need to start replacing from the initial stuff that we're going to be setting up. Okay, so let's just start doing this step by step. So the first thing is we want to copy this entire command. So I'm going to copy this, and within the terminal, I'm just going to paste it into here and hit enter. Let me just fix this up. Okay, cool. So it's made an app template for us, which is what we're going to be using. So the next command is actually CDing us into this file here, which is basically changing the directory. So the CD command is basically changing the directory so that we're sitting within this sketchboard app, and any file that we're working within is going to be totally within the sketchboard app. So if I just collapse it like this, you can see that nothing is there. And when I open it, we're going to be actually working with these files. So now the third command is to install any of the dependencies that are built within the app. We don't really need to know exactly what this means or what kind of dependencies are there. This is a pretty simple structure when you're building certain apps. You can just install a blank template package, and this is what we're doing here. And those packages, like the actual template, will have a bunch of pre-configurations that it needs. So this is basically installing those configurations. So as we scroll down, we can see that we need to replace some of the code. So within the source file, there is an app.jsx file. So over here, I'm just going to try and find source. So there it is. And there is app.jsx. So it's got a bunch of code in here already. But all I need to do is just make sure this is finished. Okay, so it's all done. So let's just copy this using this button up here. And now I'm going to go into here, completely backspace all the code that was already there and paste in our new code. So scrolling down, let's see what our next step is. So we need to add some basic styles. So within source and app.css, so we have source and app.css over here. We want to be adding these styles. So I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to go very kind of pretend that I don't have any idea about what I'm doing about coding. And I'm just going to remove all the old stuff and paste in all the new stuff. And if anything breaks, I just reprompt it and we'll be able to keep going from there. Now to run this app locally, we have to run this command. So I'm going to copy this and paste it into the terminal, hit enter. And now what we see here is that we can access the actual app on this local host. So this is not publicly available to anyone. You can't just give this URL to someone on a completely different network to you. Like let's say your friend who's in a completely different house or office. Only you can access this on your computer, so it's completely private. So all you need to do is copy this and paste it into a new tab on your computer. So I'm just going to copy this. All right, so now I'm on localhost 5173, and you can see this is the app that it's built out for us so far. So immediately it's not really centered and it's not really using up this entire window here, but no big deal. So what does draw mode do? Okay, cool. So draw mode lets us actually freehand sketches, which is exactly what we wanted. Now text mode, enter a text, hide there, add text, click on the canvas to add it. Oh, wow. Okay, that's really cool. So if I just click there and say hello and add text, it's going to add it there, but I can't really move it afterwards. But I mean, for now, this is actually pretty cool. And then if I hit clear, it just erases everything and I can't really, can I select this stuff? Okay, that's awesome. This is literally a freehand sketch draw thing that I can do, text mode. This is pretty cool. Okay, so now before I actually start taking this and asking it to fill out the entire space and possibly add some features like Excali Draw, another cool thing that I would want is the ability to save and download whatever I sketch. All right, so I'm just gonna re-prompt into here and just ask it to make those changes. All right, so this is my re-prompt. I'm giving it positive reinforcement saying this is awesome. So it actually is exactly what we wanted and it works. So that's great. So far we've checkpointed, everything's good. Can you actually add some new functionality? I want to be able to download this sketch as a PNG, and also functionality too. I want to be able to save this sketch to a library and then return to it later on. So I'm going to hit send and see what we come up with. Okay, and we have the response here where it's understanding that we want two different types of functionality, one to download as a PNG and then one to save to a library. We've got some updated code for app.jsx, but there's no actual code for us. So I think the 4.1 from what I've read online is a little bit buggy sometimes. And I'm just going to re-prompt and say, hey, can you please send the full files for me so that I can copy and paste them? And actually this is a really good prompt to use because sometimes, doesn't matter which model you're using or what kind of prompting instructions you've given to Cursor itself, sometimes the model will just return the snippet for you so you can actually update the code. But yeah, if you don't want to deal in snippets, you just want the full code so you can just copy and paste it right into here and not have to worry about which part you have to backspace and which line you have to add new. You can just use a little prompt like this. So I'm going to hit send and hopefully it works this time. So here is where we checkpointed, hey, can you please send me the full files? And we have source/app.jsx, and it looks like it was sent completely full, so we can actually just copy and paste that. Then we have some edits to the CSS, and then our original instructions, hey, to run this in your local host, you can do this. Okay, cool. So I'm just going to scroll to the top of this. I'm going to copy this and go across to app.jsx. I'm going to highlight everything. Now, a cool little hack that I do is if I know the code should be has some new functionality, I'm at 103 lines right now for the core functionality that we have so far. So yeah, when I backspace all of this and I paste in the new code, it should be more than previously. So it's, yeah, we've got an extra 60 lines here. So that signals to me that at high level that, yep, we've got the functionality added. And now if I scroll down and I find app.css, I'm going to copy this as well, and app.css. Let's backspace everything. So same amount of lines. Maybe there's no new CSS needed, no big deal. Now back in the local host, you can see that it automatically updated. So let's just test it out. I've got draw mode over here. I'm going to make a sample sketch, and let's go download as PNG. Okay, cool. So it actually downloaded, and this is the sketch that we see. So I think this kind of dark background here just means that it is white. It's just a PNG. This is how it shows. So that's awesome. It actually saved. Now the next thing we want to do is save to library. So test this out. I'm going to hit save to library, and we save the sketch here. Okay, now let me clear this and add a new, so like text mode, and say, hi, this is a cool app, add text. Now let's go draw mode and put a circle and save to library. Now if I go to sketch 1, okay, cool. And I can just add to this, save, and it makes it a new sketch. This is pretty cool. You can actually see that we now have some kind of basic library system installed into here, where we can go to different sketches that we've done. We can download them. Let's download this as well. See how it comes out. So yeah, it's the actual sketch. So then from here, you could actually have a lot of fun by saying, cool, for draw mode, I want to have different thicknesses of the actual drawing, maybe different materials, like you want a paintbrush, or you want the ability to do highlighting. Maybe you want different colors. So you can just go back into Cursor and prompt all that up. But assuming that we are actually at a happy place and we have this where we want it to be, I'm now going to ask it to research Excalidraw and just try and design this in the same format. But while we're here, I'm going to take a screenshot of this entire localhost window to give it extra context and say, hey, it's kind of just slanted on the left-hand side. So back in Cursor, I'm just going to paste in that screenshot that we had, and now it's added as context. And now just like before, I'm saying, awesome, it works. So I'm checkpointing that everything is good. And I'm saying, hey, I need to change the design a little bit. So from that image that we just attached, you can see that everything's kind of just on the left-hand side of the screen, but I want to make the design a little bit more warmer, more funner, a bit more engaging. So can we just web search different apps, different sketch apps, and just see what's available? And then we can try and base our updated design off of those apps. So I'm going to hit send and see what we get back. So now web search is trying to be activated over here. We're just going to click on continue. We could actually click on auto search for next time, so that you just basically give it the ability to search up whenever it wants to. All right, we have our responses over here. So we have Miro, which is a bright, playful, and modern, sketchboard.io, organic hand-drawn look, Figma, whimsical, and sketch. So no Excalidraw, but no big deal. I'm actually happy with what we have so far. All right, so we have some design takeaways for a warmer and funner app. You can use a lighter off-white or pastel background, add rounded corners, playful, bold colors. I like all of this. I actually like all the recommendations. So let's just reprompt what we want done. All right, so I'm just saying, I like all of your recommendations. Please make those edits and return the full files ready for me to copy and paste. So let's hit send and see what we get back. Okay, so this was our last prompt. I like your recommendations. Please make those edits. And here we are, source app.jsx. So let's scroll through here. Okay, this is yeah, massive now. So it looks like all the functionality is within that single file. And then we have source app.css. So the styling is different as well. Yeah, this is super cool. This is great. That's heaps more styling. So I'm actually keen to just run this and see what happens. And then, yep, same instructions as before. To run this, just run this command. Okay, so let's go to app.css and copy this. And we're already in that file here. So I'm going to backspace all that. We got 15 lines. When I backspace, we got 180 lines. So yes, definitely CSS changes there. Now to the top of this JSX app, I'm going to go and copy it as well. And JSX, let's go into here. Now we have 164 lines, backspace, add 169. So not too many extra lines. So let's see what happens. All right, and this is the app. Wow, this is much, much nicer. This is actually crazy impressive. So draw mode, yep, same as before. Text mode, hi there, add text, clear, download as PNG. This is so nice. This is actually really nice, but still, why is it on the left-hand side? So let's just copy that again. Let me take a screenshot of this entire thing. And I've just pasted in the screenshot and I'm like, man, this looks awesome, but it's still not centered. So let's see what we get out of this. Let's go and hit send. All right, so that was our previous prompt. This looks awesome, but it's still not centered. Okay, so it looks like the app container has a fixed width, but no centering logic. Okay, so let's just scroll down, replace your app.css with the following. So I'm not even gonna go to the very bottom. Just gonna copy this app.css. Now let's control, backspace, paste it in 219, so there is more CSS. And wow, look at that, now it's centered. This looks insane. I'm actually so impressed. Like, look at this two-tone where it's like a lighter yellowish color. It goes to a darker color here, a bit more orange on the bottom. Like, this entire design, like, yes, we did some web searching to kind of select what kind of design we wanted, but the 4.1 model essentially just decided by itself some of these design features. And yep, this still works. Text mode, hi there. It's always the hi there. You know how it is, guys. Hi there. Yeah, from here, you would just go away and probably just keep working on this app until you get to a stage where you're happy with what colors are available, brush sizes. Maybe you want to have persistent storage here. Because I think if I just refresh this, oh, the storage actually stays here. So it actually made this persist. That is so cool. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to see more detailed videos about Cursor and kind of like vibe coding or building out apps in Cursor, feel free to drop a comment below. I would love to make more videos. Just want to see if there's interest. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this new setup, and good luck coding up some crazy stuff. See ya.